This is the MYFORD University podcast, episode 5. Welcome, colleagues, to MYFORD University. I'm George Sloan, your host and dean of this alternative institution of higher learning. We're not handing out degrees, we're handing out tools. Tools that you can use right now to improve your personal and professional life without waiting years or racking up 6 figures of debt. Today, we're diving into something every MBA student is taught, but few people outside the classroom actually use it well. It's called SWOT analysis. That's not a typo. It's SWOT. It's an acronym that stands for Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. Sounds basic, right? It is. But don't confuse simple with unimportant, because if you learn how to use SWOT the right way, you'll gain insight and clarity and be able to make smarter and faster decisions. Again, this is probably one of the most versatile tools. It crosses so many situations where you have to do analysis, where you have to do reporting. It's used in almost every single aspect of business these days. It just sometimes gets hidden in the background, but it's there and it's a very powerful tool. You can even perform it on yourself. We'll get to it later. So let's get into it. What is SWOT analysis? It's a 4-box framework that you can use to assess a situation, your business, your career, your team, even your next big decision. Here's how it works and breaks down. Strengths. As it would sound, it's kind of obvious. What are you good at? That could be you personally, that could be your team, that could be your product, that could be your company. So what is it that you're good at? What is your advantage? Hopefully you have a couple of them. The next thing you want to look at is weaknesses. What are you not so great at? Hell, what do you suck at? Question, where are the gaps? Start looking and don't self-deceive yourself. Be honest, admit it, own it, because there are things that can be done. Let's move on to opportunities. What's out there that you could capitalize on? And I'm going to give you a little secret here. Your opportunities are typically driven by your strengths, and they are constrained by your weaknesses. Think about that. Okay, threats. What could go wrong or get in your way? It could be regulation. It could be competition. It could be any number of things. Again, the best thing to do is to be intellectually honest with yourself and own the situations that you're in. Because, again, you can do things with it. And just like opportunities are impacted by strengths and weaknesses, threats are typically driven by your weaknesses, but they can be helped out by your strengths. And again, just because you have a weakness now doesn't mean you're going to have it 6 months, a year, 2 years from now. Everything can be changed. And you can also lose your strengths if you don't maintain them. Again, it's like a muscle. You got to keep working it out. So that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. It's simple, right? But it's also extremely revealing if you're honest. I can't emphasize that enough. You got to be intellectually honest with yourself when you do this. Your whole team. You got to, no holding back. And just because senior leadership is in the room, you've got to be honest. If the emperor is not wearing clothes, you need to say it. Part 2. Why SWOT matters. Now here's why I love this tool. SWOT cuts through all the noise. It replaces fuzzy thinking with clear insight. Again, if you're honest about it. Most people base their decisions on gut feelings or pressure or outdated information. A SWOT forces you to slow down and think. And by the way, this is not a one-time exercise. This is something you should be doing on a regular basis. And again, this could be done professionally or even personally. You can do this on yourself. If you're in the workforce and you're looking to see what my strengths and weaknesses are, that might tell you that you can get other opportunities out there. Again, you can use it in both a pure business setting, or you can use it for your own personal reasons. So if you slow down and think about it, this will actually help you because it gets you to know what to double down on if you're doing something, you have strengths and you're doing something really well, maybe we need to do more of it. It'll help you spot some blind spots. Can you fix them, or what can you do to avoid them? It'll allow you to jump on the right opportunities and possibly even see them coming before they get here. And it will help you prepare for risks. And as I say, sometimes it's not just about risk avoidance. Sometimes it could be risk transfer, or you could shore up and make sure that what used to be a weakness and a threat can now maybe turn into a strength and an opportunity. So whether you're building a business, or you're choosing your next career move, or planning your next project, again, I've mentioned I'm a project manager, SWOT helps you make the right move. It doesn't guarantee it, but it's better than winging it. So next, who can use this? And I've kind of hinted at this. This is basically the best part. It's not just for CEOs and for MBA students. Anyone can use it. Anyone. If you're an entrepreneur, you might fine-tune your strategy or your marketing using SWOT. If you're a professional, you might assess your own growth and your skills. And if you're a little weak in one area, okay, that might be something we need to work on. If you're a student, it can help you evaluate your career paths. If I was a student, I would be using SWOT to look at what the future of the industry that I'm looking at going into looks like. Perform the SWOT on the industry. If you're a team, you can use it to align around a particular plan. SWOT in a team is very, very powerful, especially if you kind of combine it with a little bit of brainstorming, where you allow free flow, free thinking of different possibilities, and you don't rule anything out until you have a discussion and really carefully weigh the evidence and use your critical thinking skills, which we've talked about. Okay, one more. If you're a side hustler, you might decide that the idea is worth chasing, or not. So if you're trying to figure out what's next, or why something's not working, SWOT will help you. Now you might be wondering, when do I use SWOT? Well, we've kind of hinted at this already. You use SWOT whenever there's something at stake. If you're launching a new product or service, you want to use SWOT. If you're changing jobs or roles, you want to use SWOT. If you're considering a big investment, you want to use SWOT. Might be an investment in a new employee. Who knows? If you're planning your year or your quarter, SWOT makes sense. If you're fixing something that's broken, SWOT can help you. It doesn't have to be formal. You can literally sketch it on the back of a napkin. I love that concept, and we're going to be talking about that. I've got things coming down the pike for this channel and for MYFORDuniversity.com, where we're going to talk about the idea of back of the napkin. I'll even talk to you about a book that actually sums it up perfectly. We'll save that for another day. Okay, the most important of the things that we've talked about. You know what it is now. You kind of know who can use it, when they can use it, where it makes sense. But the most important thing, because we believe in learning it fast and applying it faster, how do you do a SWOT analysis? So here's how you do it. First, you pick your focus. Are you analyzing your career, a business idea, a team? Be very specific. Create a chart. Fill in the 4 boxes. Strengths in the upper left. What do you or your business do well? Weaknesses in the lower left. What's holding you back? Opportunities. Oh, I'm sorry, I said the lower left, it's the upper right. The lower left is opportunities. I'm trying to visualize this real quick. What's available to you if you act? And of course, in the final box, lower right, threats. What external risks exist? By the way, I'm going to leave any mistakes I make in because I'm real. This is not AI doing this. It's me. Okay, number 3, interpret and act. How do you take your strengths and use them to help you seize opportunities? Again, remember I said before, opportunities are very much tied to strengths and only constrained by weaknesses. Another thing you do, and I was just hinting at this, how do you shore up your weaknesses to guard against threats? Well, maybe your strengths need to be shored up as well to help you deal with the threats. So let's give you an example. Let's say you're a freelance designer and you've done an honest, thought-provoking self-reflection, okay? And you've determined that your strengths are that you have a strong portfolio and you can turn things around fast. Your weakness is with self-promotion. Your opportunity might be local businesses that are upgrading their branding post-pandemic and going forward into the future. The threat might be new AI tools cutting into the low-end design work that you do. Personally, you should work on getting into the higher end. Sometimes doing less work, but higher quality work that costs more is a better strategy, but that's for another day to talk about. So what do? You lean into it with branding for small businesses, and you highlight your speed of turnaround. You build a simple referral strategy, and you use AI tools as a helper, not a competitor. There you go. You embrace what could be a threat and bring it over to your team. So this is how SWOT works and how it clarifies action. And again, I've done this in a very simplified format, but I think you get the idea. Okay, as always, I always like to cover the pitfalls to avoid. So let's be real. Most people will mess this up, and here's how they mess it up. They stay too vague. They say, oh, we're good at marketing, which is too broad. What they sit there and go, if they say we grow audience 40% in 6 months, that's a lot more specific. So that's something you can actually, bank on and market. So good at marketing can mean a lot of things. And by the way, I run into a lot of people who can't define what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And I have this discussion with certain colleagues all the time. People can't seem to define what it is they want. They say they want this, but they haven't defined it to a point. So it's a moving target. But if you get more specific, and like I say, if your marketing is good, so you can grow audience by 40% in 6 months, that's specific. Another thing they do, they skip external factors. Remember, SWOT isn't all about you. You got to look at, almost a 360 analysis, which is another thing we'll cover in a future concept that will be on MYFORDuniversity.com. Another thing they do, they stop at the grid. In other words, they just do the analysis and they do no action. And honestly, and I'm going to say it in plain English, that's just mental masturbation. If you're going to do the analysis, you should, after you've done it, come up with a action plan and some next steps, and then execute. And then what you do is you evaluate the results, you iterate with it, you look at it, and you make adjustments and pivot, and then you repeat the process again. That's how you get solid process improvement. So don't admire the problem, move on it, act on it. So we're going to keep this one a little shorter. Again, I'm getting into giving you a quick wrap up, and I'm actually going to give you a challenge on this one. So we've covered what SWOT is: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's the clearest and fastest way that you can think strategically, and it works for anyone, anywhere, on anything worth doing well. So here's your homework. Run a quick SWOT analysis on your current role or your side hustle or your next big decision. If you do it honestly, it will open your eyes and it will show you exactly what you know and what you need to know and what you need to do next. So that's MYFORD University for today. We take the complex and we make it simple. We also make the simple actionable, and we help you get results. I'm George Sloan. I want to thank you for listening. If this helped, share it with someone else. Don't keep MYFORD University a secret. And remember, you don't need a degree. You need an edge. Let's get you one. We will see you the next time. Thank you.